Welcome to the 13 April 2020 episode of IBM Developer Puget Sound. Topic: Install Package Fail to Ban. Once the server is powered on, there will be unauthorized attempts to SSH login by hackers from around the world. Ban attempted logins from the hacker's IP address for some time. These instructions apply to the following prerequisites. The system will be an Ubuntu Linux on an IBM S390X. It is expected that you will have run the update and upgrade and we expect that Python 3 will be installed. In this case it is installed. And we expect that you will need to know the port, the SSH port. In this case, it's port 22. You can see that there are attempts to unauthorized attempts to log into this server by looking at the authentication log. Or by taking another look at the log with the cat command. You may even want to look at specific failure messages. For example, we're looking at the connection closed, and we see that there's all servers from all over the place that are attempting to log in here. There's the date and the time. You can potentially even see a pattern if there's, but most of these look like they're the different servers from probably different places in the world. I suppose that would be one strategy. If you didn't want someone to know, you could fire up a bunch of servers, and then it wouldn't look like a single server was running the attack. So let's install fail2ban with the apt package manager for Ubuntu. So the installation instructions suggest once it's done, check for any error messages. I don't see any. And then the next thing we want to do is check for the version of fail2ban. We see we're at version fail2ban 0.10.2. Furthermore, we can check the status of fail2ban, and here we can see that it's started, and that the server is ready. Furthermore, we might want to check that the packaged version of fail2ban version number compared to the GitHub version, the latest GitHub release. So here we see, as we did a few minutes ago, that we have version 0.10.2. If we go over to the GitHub fail2ban repository and fail2ban project, we see that the releases are later than the packaged version. So what we'll want to do is use a git clone to get the latest version. And we might want to just take a look at the network and see how far along they've come since the latest merge. So this was done on March 13th. It says 0.11. So if you want the very latest, this is what we'd get with git clone. So that means we're going to have to uninstall what we just installed, the fail2ban that we just installed. So we can stop it. And then we'll use apt to uninstall. Guess we're not going to get to use that. Try it here and see if it works there. Let's just call good enough. Do the uninstall without that. Well, I appear to specialize in making up my own commands that don't work. We'll give this one a try. There we go. That worked better. So the uninstall occurred correctly, it looks like, without any errors. Henceforth, we'll be working with a later version cloned from GitHub. A note here, it says please do not forget to update your configuration files, and we will do that later. And we're also going to check the version to see what we have. Forgot to put the client in there. now we're working with fail2ban version 1.0.1 dev 1. Well, let's take look at the fail2ban GitHub page and look at the README. It appears that they're also referencing this version, and so that's the very latest version. And farther down in their instructions, we can see that they're also referencing the 1.0.1 version right here. Taking a look at the instructions, we can see that we need to configure fail2ban. So we'll do that right now. We're going to do that by copying the main configuration file into another file in the same directory named fail2ban.local. It helps if I spell correctly. Give that a try again. So once we have that copied, then we can edit that file. Let's add some line numbers. Well, we have line numbers, and now you can scroll around in here and see some various settings, and you might want to change these depending on what kind of problems you might be having. So for example, if the log level is set to info and you want maybe a higher level, or a lower level, you can switch to debug or to notice, but just by typing that in here. Notice where the log file is right here. We will be taking a look at that later on. That's about it for now in this file. So we want to get out of this and go to we want to make a copy of the jail file. So it's jail.configuration or jail.conf, and we're going to copy it into jail.local. So as I pointed out, we'll be copying from jail.conf into jail.local. And then we're going to edit that file, the jail.local. Let's set up some line numbers. And we'll note you want to scroll down and change a few things. and looking at for example, there's a ban time, and this is enabled by, these are defaults. And so we want to scroll down and see if we can find what some of the default options are. And right here, these are some important options. So the ban time, find time, and max retry are defaults. And I believe if we look through here, we'd see that they're defaults for all the jails. Now we're just going to be using the SSHD jail. So if we look for that jail, we see here that that jail doesn't have any specified ban times or the max retry, and so or the find time, and so we could add something there. Another thing to notice is here it says the ban time is the number of seconds, but here they're listing minutes, and I believe that works, and so we're probably just going to use the minutes. Ergo, go down to the jail. I guess I better search for it, and we'll type in some defaults right there. So you could do something like this, which would be one day, but I think we'll just do a shorter ban time for this demonstration. We'll just do 1 minute, and you can customize that to whatever user you think will be logging in and the kinds of mistakes. So if you expect one user and that user is pretty good at entering their password, you might lower the max retry and maybe even boost the find time to longer. But if you have a bunch of users and they are not very good at entering their passwords, maybe you'll give them 5 retries, something like that. But for now, we're going to shorten it. We'll save the file. Exit. Next, we want to see if the jail exists and what its status is. And it says, oh, sorry, the jail SSHD does not exist. And here's one possibility. We'll go into or not. Let's see here. So if we go into our jail file, jail.local, and we enable the SSHD jail, that may fix the problem. So this is the tag that labels this jail, and right here we're going to enable it. After enabling the jail, we'll try fail2ban -client restart. So it says the server is ready, and now we should be able to do we see the status of the jail. And it's currently not finding or banning anything. So we can again take a look at our log and see if there should be something in there. So this starts clear back on April 7th. This is the 13th. If I just scroll down very fast, appear to be a lot of login attempts. So for example, right here, you can see this IP address is scanning many ports. So but that happened many days ago. Getting better and better and better. Here, April 13th. So here's one that should get banned. And that happened. When did that happen? Seemingly just recently. Scroll down some more. Well, we should try something different. Let's try a hack on our own server and see if we can ban ourselves, keeping in mind the ban time that we set in the jail.local file. So we set the ban time to 1 minute. That seems like we should be able to wait 1 minute until we get unbanned. On the right-hand screen, I have logged into a separate server, and from this remote server with a fake username, I'm going to attempt to SSH into the server under test. So using the public IP address of the test server, I'll log in with a bogus username, and we should see it says it can't find the name of that server, but that we know that because I haven't used this server before. So we're going to add it to the list. And it says right here, it says white hat permission denied because I didn't provide it with a public key. And if I attempt to log in again, it says permission denied. I'll go one more time and put it over the limit. Well, that did do something. That was the third try. And number 2 is we were at a limit of 3. No, I think I set it to a limit of 2. And so we want to see if we're in the jail now. The jail only lasts a minute, so I have to hurry. So it says total failed, currently banned, banned IP list. So that must be the IP address that I'm signing in from, which is probably on the virtual private network. And then here you can see that it released after quite a while. Let's see if it's been a minute. Let's see if I'm out of jail now. See, now that I'm no longer in the there was one ban, but the IP ban list is gone now. It's empty. So the conclusion is that the jail is working, and it of course works against me if I forget my own password. But if I have a short enough ban time, then it's tolerable. On the other hand, you might want to ban the bad guys for a long time. Let's take a look at the fail2ban log and see if that showed up in the log. So here's right here is the ban that occurred. We could probably get out of this. Since we've proved that. So right here, just a few minutes ago, that's when the ban occurred. So it found it, and then on the third try it banned it, and then after a minute, because that's what our jail is set to just for a minute, it unbanned it again. Just a couple of final notes. You can get some additional help. If you really want to look at that, so you can scroll up and down through there. There's an extensive list. One thing that we might like to do is stop the jail in case you need to make some edits, or you might like to restart the jail or start it. So let's give that a try. We'll stop the jail, and then we'll see what happens if we click on restart here. It says it can't do that, but what happens if we just start it? It says the server's already running. What happens if we do some other thing here? And so it's still running. Well, this concludes this episode, and I would like to point out that the notes for this episode are in the GitHub IBM Developer Puget Sound organization, in the project Curtain Raiser, and in the repository Curtain Raiser in the how-to directory, and then in the fail2ban README. There's at the very bottom of the file, there's some references to some of the things that I referred to while making the article.